All right, and we're live. Hello, friends and family. I hope your day is going well, your relationships are great, and that you are ready for another segment of A Table for Two. It's kind of like a podcast, but it's more like talking to an old friend. And if you're curious as to what I'm listening to a playlist of Debussy tracks, which is a French composer. On point. Love it. What we're going to be talking about, I'm going to keep it brief, keep it short, succinct, to the point. Actually, go ahead and guess how long you think it's actually going to take. 2 topics. First, I'm going to give you an update on the whole camera situation. Remember I said that my old camera just not working out anymore. It kept glitching, getting errors, and I would film for like 20-30 minutes and then be like, oh, we couldn't record it at all. Although it showed that it's recording, and then when it went to review, it's like, file is corrupt. But it's okay. I got 5.5 years out of it, so a lot of the longevity of it was pretty good. And then next I'll be talking about dads and dogs. I wonder what this video title is even going to be. By the way, if you're watching up to this point, I just want to say thank you, because one thing that I noticed is that when I downgraded from having like a professional camera to using my smartphone, I lost 80% of my views. Okay, we went from playing with maybe 1,000 views to now barely getting 200. But hopefully the audio quality is on point today, because what am I talking about, okay? So let's talk about the whole camera situation. So the game plan was to go ahead and buy a new camera. Do you remember I said that? I was like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and just get a replacement camera, no questions asked. But then I paused for a second and I thought about it. Should I really spend about like $1,000 to get the latest specs and to get 4K quality, and to upgrade my equipment? The more I thought about it, I couldn't justify, right? There's other things in my life that could be prioritized in terms of like the ROI. Should I really be spending that much money on a camera when I'm not even a high caliber YouTuber? That's what it boiled down to. And so, no, I didn't get it. And so what the idea is now is I'm going to upgrade the equipment once the channel starts picking up. Right now, I'm treating it like a startup where I think this community is like 200, 400 people strong, which is not bad. But once the views start picking up and everything, and I hope it does one day, otherwise, it'd be really sad. Oh, I don't want to get into that. So if you're watching this right now and you're considering, should I get a Samsung S20 or not? And I really like to take selfies and videos. Well, what you're saying right now is a Samsung S20 FE 5G. Quality is not that bad. As long as you have good lighting, it's on point. And if you're wondering why the audio is pretty crisp and clear, this is not the camera's stock microphone, but rather it's my attachment Rode microphone. By the way, do we want some lights? What color lights should we do? We got a red chair and a red and yellow polo thing, right? So let's see. Which lights should we do? Should we go with yellow today? Can't even really see that, can you? By the way, the hair's growing in pretty fast, right? Yeah, I guess we could go with yellow. I don't know. No. Let's go with red. Or how about like that? Alright. I'm such a noob. But gotta make the backdrop look cute, right? And the reason why I was like, you know what? Because if you want to take YouTube seriously, like you might want to have good equipment from the get-go, right? Because you want to be who you want to be eventually. But then it boiled down to me understanding that YouTube is just a hobby for me for right now, where I am in life. You know, something that I do for fun, to pass the time, and because I really enjoy it, right? We all have different hobbies, whether it's playing video games, whether it's swiping left or right on Tinder, whether it's watching anime or even traveling. Me, personally, I like YouTube. I think it's fun, I think it's entertaining, and to me, it's time well spent. Don't ever let anyone judge you for your hobbies, right? If you enjoy doing whatever it is you do, then it's time well spent and it's not wasted. Unless you have like an addiction, then you better fix yourself before you wreck yourself. And I guess this kind of ties back to the whole idea of YouTube being a hobby for me, because like someone commented recently, I'm not gonna take a screenshot to save their face or save face. What is it? Save their face or save face. But they asked like essentially, do I regret changing the direction of my channel from when I used to be popular and getting all the views to now being essentially a nobody? They're like, why did you do it? Do I regret it? All the time. I regret it all the time. It used to be severe, like I'd be like, what did I do? To now it's more of like an afterthought where like once a week I'm like, what did I do? Why did I ruin my own channel? But you know, I think that's life. You live and you learn, right? You make mistakes and you become better because of them. Or in a perfect world, I would hope that we would learn from our mistakes. If you just keep doing the same ones over and over, expecting a different outcome, then that's just nonsense, right? But that mistake that I made, I think it's in the past and I can't do anything about it. I can't sit here and cry about the good old days like, oh, I miss it. It's more so, what am I gonna do now? What am I gonna do next? What am I gonna do now to get to that next step? Right, I could sit here, whine about it, cry about it, complain about it like, oh, come back. I'm not gonna beg people to come back because I don't deserve it. This content is terrible. It doesn't have flashy edits, and it's not the person that they subscribe to, right? So, I don't know, it's just how I always handled obstacles in life for the most part. When there's a setback, I always think of it as a setup for a comeback. You know, granted, in this example, I think this channel is dead. Rest in peace to my YouTube channel, let's be honest. But hey, you're still here and I'm still here. So the curtains are still not closed and the show will continue on, right? And I think now it's interesting. Whereas in the past, it felt more like I had a platform. Now I just feel like I'm just chilling out with a group of people in a lounge or at a cafe. We're just kicking it back and chilling with my friends. So, I don't know. And that, you know, that kind of makes me curious. So that's something that I do, you know, without much reward. But what's something that you love doing, something that you enjoy, even though it doesn't garner or gather a lot of recognition, likes or views or whatnot, something that you do because it fulfills you, like staying in a long-term relationship with someone, even though it's not glamorized or even publicly acknowledged by the paparazzi. Every time you walk out, they're like, hey, Justin Bieber, turn over here, Haley over here. I guess that's kind of like my love for YouTube, even though it doesn't produce much fruit. I still love it. So what's something that you really like? But then going back to the whole like being a famous couple idea, you know, I can't imagine being a celebrity couple. If had I gone down that rabbit hole and I actually became super famous in Korea, I can't imagine what it would have been like. You know, going on dates would be super frustrating, or even doing anything simple like grocery shopping would be annoying, or even just leaving the house and doing anything simple would result in a scandal, right? I like my life. It's private, it's quiet, it's peaceful. But do I miss when people would recognize me in the streets? Do I miss when people would come up to me and be like, hey, here's a gift? Of course I miss it. But do I enjoy the privacy that I have now? Absolutely. I think it's... Having lived on both sides of the spectrum, I can tell you, living a normal life, I don't take it for granted. I think it's awesome. Alright, so moving on to the next topic. Let me get some water. By the way, my lighting, I literally just sit by a window. So anyone out there who's thinking about doing a YouTube channel, don't be scared, just do it. Right? I'm literally using my phone and I use my window as a source of light. So what excuses do you have? Right? I don't get views, I don't have much anything, but I'm doing it. So I want to encourage you, if you're thinking about doing YouTube, do it. If you need a sign, this is the sign that you've been waiting for. So moving on to the next topic, dads and dogs. So when we think about dads in America, it goes without saying, we think of them and we associate them with like dad shoes, those bulky shoes that I always liked since middle school, and they finally came into style, and I'm like, I was just too early. Same with Hawaiian shirts. I was rocking them in middle school, high school, people used to bag on me, and now they're trendy, so I guess I'm always early. But we associate dads with like dad shoes, cargo shorts, and of course the resistance to puppies, right? Like when we think about dads in America in a very stereotypical way, that's not good, by the way, but how we usually think of them. And it's always the children or the wife that's asking, like, can we have a dog, please? Can we have it? Can we have it? Please, he's so cute. Can we just have it? And the dad usually responds like, who's gonna train the dog? Who's gonna clean after its mess? Not me. We're not gonna have it. They're dirty. They're gonna shed everywhere. I don't want another responsibility. It's already hard enough. And I think that's funny because there's always that initial resistance, right? The dad always pushes back and says, I don't want it. But once the puppy grows up and becomes a part of the family, the dad treats it like it's as if it's his own offspring, like it's his own son or his own daughter. And that's something that I've seen in my friends' families. And it's just such an interesting situation. By the way, the clouds outside my window today, it's on point. They're floating so fast. Where I live, the clouds are like really fast and they're big. Man, if you're having a bad day, refer to my other video. Because if you just put yourself in nature for a little bit, it'll lighten the mood even just a tad bit. By the way, that last video, I'm not talking about it in a way where if you're struggling with a mental illness, then do this to solve it. And I said the disclaimer like a few times. The last video was more so if you're feeling down or you're feeling sad, what you can do physically or environmentally to help change it up. I think it's funny going back to like the dogs and dads. After that initial resistance, it's hard to see how that was ever the case, because you'll always see the dad cuddling the dog and using the baby voice like "achoo boo boo" with the dog and everything. It's hard to see like at first they did not want. And the reason why I wanted to make this video is because I ran across this thought process on Reddit, right? And it goes, dads bond with dogs because in our society, men don't receive a lot of affection. But dogs, on the other hand, they love to give affection and lots of it. And not so much these days, right, in 2021. But back in the day, when we think about dads in the conventional sense, they were the providers for the family, the hunters and gatherers, and the warrior and whatnot. And they provided for the family by means of shelter and money. And they went to work day in, day out without any thanks or appreciation from the family. Okay, you might even be relating to this like, yeah, neither did we. But what's even more sad is I'm sure every dad remembers the last time that they picked up their child to put them into bed for a good night's rest and never did it again because the kid got too big or the kid became too cool to be tucked in to bed. And I guess I'm curious, like, what's that cutoff age when parents stop showing affection, to the kids because for various reasons. It's weird to think about, right? There was a point in time where one day they just stopped tucking you into bed because you got too old. But if you grew up in an immigrant household like I did, it feels like all this stopped at the age of 2 before you even had any memory recollections. Because most immigrant households, they don't show affection whatsoever. I don't know. And I know I'm not even like 2 or 3 minutes into talking about dads and dogs, and I already know that I ruffled some feathers. There's some people watching this right now, angry, saying, what about moms? They're everything. Moms are the world. That's my queen. I feel the anger already behind those keyboards and screens. I feel it already. And that's exactly what I'm talking about though, right? Moms get all of the spotlight, and what I'm trying to say is, yes, moms, they certainly do deserve the credit for all that they do and did. But when it comes to dads, can we not joke around? They literally get nothing, right? They get 1 day out of the year. Happy Father's Day. Now go out there and grill us some steaks and sweat in the hot sun. Like in the American culture, right? We don't really give dads affection or daily words of reassurance, which is weird to say the least. But when it comes to like moms, the way we bond with them, it's different. Affection is like the name of the game in terms of the way we talk to them and the words we use. But maybe it's because in our culture, it's that most men, they don't like to overly display affection, and it's just how they are or how we are. But remember, there's 5 love languages. Maybe it's because most men, they don't like to openly show that type of love. And I think it goes without saying. I'm not going to edit that out, by the way, because that's like what I would do in real life. Right? I would sit back, get a sip of water, and let that sink in for a little bit. I think it goes without saying that most of us, not all of us, gotta say that because someone's going to be like, no, that's not true. But most of us, I think we learn love, affection, and gratitude from our moms. And as such, we always thank them for all that they did, right? For raising us, for carrying us for about 3/4 of a year. But when it comes to dads, right? Nothing. And I just think that's an interesting dichotomy of parents. One time, a colleague told me this and it stuck with me. When I come home from work after a 14-hour shift, nobody cares about me at my home. My wife starts yelling at me, my kids ignore me, they continue to play their video games. But my dog, whenever he sees me, he screams and shouts for joy every time that I come home. And maybe this is the truth in the US because young men are conditioned to believe that as fathers, they ought to hide their emotions, to never cry in front of their children or dance like a silly robot because they feel like it. And as such, it teaches their family to not be emotional with their father. I don't know. Is that just a US thing? Never really thought about it, but as I ramble on, I'm just thinking like, is that really how it is? Maybe, maybe not, right? But it's interesting. And of course, this is gonna be the disclaimer. Everything that I've said so far and that I'm going to say, please disregard it if you're listening to this from the perspective of a broken home or a divorced home, or your grandparents raised you, or if you come from any other type of non-traditional upbringing or home, because then this is not going to be relatable and you're going to attack me. I get it. And I guess I'm talking about it from a more of like a conventional household, even though I wasn't raised in a conventional household. That's why I'm making this disclaimer, because I can totally relate to why some people might watch this and be like, I don't resonate with this at all. But yeah, my disclaimer is here and it's time-stamped. Okay, so before you leave a witty comment or an angry comment, here it is. Okay? But granted, when it goes to parents, right? I feel like parents, regardless if you have 2 dads or 2 moms or one of each, I feel like they have different responsibilities depending on their defined SOPs, right? Their standard operating procedures. Like, you do this and I'll do that. You take care of this and I'll take care of that. But at night, right, 2 a.m. in the morning, when there's creepy noises going on outside, whether it's the dad or the mom that grabs the broomstick to defend their home, it doesn't matter. Right, but what matters is that you're always going to have that loyal ally by your side to help investigate and join you in defense of the home, your dog. Right? And I just think, dogs are just so awesome. They're willing to risk it all to protect their family. And I just think dogs are truly the definition of team players. We can learn a lot from them. And in fact, I actually made a video in the past dedicated to the life lessons that dogs teach us, if you want to check that out. I think it's wholesome as well, but I appreciate everything that dogs and dads do for us. So if you have a furry friend or a pet, remember that they are only here for a part of our life, whether it's 5, 10, or 15 years. But for them, our pets, we are there for their whole life. And sometimes we are their whole world. Not to sound conceited, but truly, we provide for them, we love them, we are all that they ever know. So treat them well, right? Because your pet might only be a chapter in your book of life. But in your pet's book of life, you are their entire book. Not to sound conceited, but really, right? So if you can, treat them well. I don't know. You already know how I feel, right? Like, dogs are wholesome. Seriously. I love them so much because I've always had a dog ever since I was a kid. And I'm allergic to them, which is interesting, right? Like, why would you get a dog if you're allergic? And I think it just goes to show how much I love them. Because I think it's through dogs that I truly learned what it meant. You know, like they talk about it in the scriptures and stuff, but like, dogs showed me, firsthand experience of what it means to have unconditional love. You could have punished them for ripping something up, and literally the next day they'll love you all the same, or sometimes even more. And whenever I'm having a bad day, if I hold my buddy Bernie, my little Cavapoo, he has an Instagram, by the way. Yeah, that's a plug. I feel slightly better. There's just something about dogs, right? Yeah, dogs and dads. Let's show them appreciation. And this is the part of the video where I show a submission from one of y'all. And if you want to send something in, please go ahead by sending an unlisted YouTube upload to the email address in the description box. But this is from Sleep, and I had to trim it and transcribe what she said because the music was too loud that you guys wouldn't be able to hear, and I can't post edit that because The music was added onto the video clip. But essentially, Slee asked, what drives me? What motivates me to get up and out of bed every morning to do what I do? In regards to this channel, I guess I have motivations for different things, but for what's pertinent for this channel, at this point, it's straight up passion and my love for YouTube that drives me to continue making videos, right? Like, most people, when they want to do YouTube, they quit. I would say like 99%. A lot of my friends who are YouTubers, most of them have quit, right? More so, if you think you want to do YouTube and you upload like 5 videos and none of them build traction, you'd quit. Most people quit, and it's naturally so. Like, you'd expect, like, if you put this much time and effort into a video, it blows up, but most times it's just not the case. So what motivates me is I guess it's a lot of things. It's just what I really like doing, right? And I think it goes to show that sometimes some people are in it just for the views, just for the sponsorships, just for the money, just for the comments. Because I know that there's my fellow creators out there say that whenever they upload, they consistently get 1 million views. If they get less than 800,000 on a video, they will honestly feel upset and contemplate deleting the video. I'm not even kidding. I'm lucky to see 200 views, right? I know what it feels like to get, close to 1 million views on a video to getting no views on a video. I've experienced both. And that's okay. Like, when it comes to personal or passion projects, like for me, it's YouTube, right? I try not to judge its worth by the numbers, but by how it made me feel and how it made others feel. And that's something that I want to encourage you. If you have something that you really like doing, who cares if it doesn't build traction or get the likes or get the recognition, right? But I guess in terms of answering that question, oh, what the heck? I was wondering why my notebook had that. I was like, what is this? It's like a sticker. I do have ambitions outside of YouTube, though. I like to think of myself as a YouTuber, but I also have other things that I do as well. And those also bring fuel to the fire, right? And I guess to sum it up, a little preview. I think they're all interconnected because I have this intense desire, this need and want to do impactful work, right? To make a difference and to help people out. That's just who I am. I can't just go to a job and get a paycheck. I just can't do it, no matter how cool it is or whatever. I need to know that I'm making an impact for the better in other people's lives. So that's a little preview. But in terms of YouTube, I keep doing it because I love to, and that's what drives me and motivates me, because I love to do it, because I love the way that I connect with people. I love the way that I positively influence people. I love the way that this channel has the power to change another person's life's trajectory. I'm just trying to show the other side of YouTube, where it's not just clickbait and superficial stardom, but that there's still OG creators that are in it to see fruit blossom, even if it comes in the form of 100 or 200 views. So that's why I do it. I don't know, cheesy maybe, but it's the truth. And I gotta make this quick plug. I wonder if what I talked about today, if it's gonna be true for those of you that are cat owners. Please let me know. Like, do you feel the same way? And if you grew up without a dad in your life, do you feel the same way about your mom? Have you been showing your mom the recognition that she deserves? And if you do have a dad, have you been showing him the recognition that he deserves? And that's my call to action, right? The recap. The point of this video today is that I want to encourage all of us to show appreciation and gratitude to everyone. Not just to moms, not just to dads or to teachers, but to everyone who genuinely deserves it. Because they helped raise you, or they were a defining figure in your life. Let's show love and light to the unsung heroes, the people that are doing the right thing when no one's watching. When I was in military school, over a decade ago, there was this super down-to-earth janitor there that never complained, that always just did his job, and he always had a smile on his face. The definition of a hard-working immigrant, okay? When we were seniors, my classmates and I, we gave him a plaque of recognition and some money for everything that he did. And when he received it, he bawled his eyes out because he's been a janitor for a long time and no one cares about him. He's kind of like the forgotten person. But my classmates and I, we were like, I forget how much money it was, but collectively, when we all pulled in, it's not much, right? But when it's together, a group effort, it was a lot. And I know it helped him out a lot. And it was a wholesome moment. And I'm just trying to share that story with you because when we give recognition to the unsung heroes in our lives, they'll cry or they'll feel that appreciation that they always wanted but didn't know that they wanted. Folks, it's 2021, right? Let's give our dads, our brothers, our friends, our husbands and sons the love and affection that they need and deserve. Yes, I'm naming off the males because I think when it comes to females, we do a good job, or we should be. As a society, we do a good job of showing them the affection that they need. But when it comes to the males, right? Like, they're human too. They have feelings and a need for validation. Let's remind them that they're smart, that they're hardworking, that they're handsome, etc. I don't know. This was one of those videos where it was a rambling, but just something that was on my mind. Let me know. Do you appreciate the new audio quality? And I will try to do more live streams, not just once a week, but a couple times a week on Instagram, and I have to get back on Twitch. Anyways, thanks for joining me today on the Table for Two. I will talk to you very soon, and have a good rest of your day. Peace.